What's the good word, y'all? We are finally live, bringing y'all the good stuff today. Got your boys, DKBxJets, Italy Jet, aka Everything NYJ, and then we got Gunny, New York Jets situation report in the building with us. Appreciate y'all coming through. My bad, Dark. I seen y'all trying to attack my man Gino. It was actually me this time. It was actually me, but.
Man,
Boys,
and Porto, bro, what the heck? We got Dark Soldier, we got Porto. I was 10 minutes early, went to go take a break, and now these guys are here.
I had you covered, Gino. I was just like, not this time, boys. Not this time. I ain't dropped no names. I was gonna keep them guessing, but I want to make sure at least, you know what I'm saying, I had your back on that one, Gino.
It's all good.
hey, players mess up too.
Hey, the grind is real.
Facts. Well, we finally got some real stuff to talk about. We got a preseason game under our belts. We have 2 weeks of practices officially under. I think that was practice number 11 for us yesterday. So 2 weeks officially of practice under us. How'd you guys feel about the Hall of Fame game for starters?
Well, first, Chris Streveler just got waived just now.
Yeah, he's cut.
What?
I've been calling that since that game period. Since the whole thing.
Amen.
Let's stop with this, man. The Chris Streveler experience is over. Let's just call it what
it
is.
Dude, that was so like 2 years ago.
Did that literally just happen, or was that from earlier today?
Like right now, I just saw it flash on my thing too. I already retweeted
Tough.
it. I'm like, well, there goes that.
Tough. I thought he was going to recapture that preseason magic. I thought he was like a sneaky team favorite.
I was waiting for it. I was like, you know what? He is undefeated in the preseason. He might be able to pull something out of. Wait, nope. No. My bad.
No, not even close. Nah,
it's not too surprising. Well, to be fair, I was still having the debate about who would be our best emergency quarterback on the roster. Still not the biggest fan of Tim Boyle, but it does seem like he was pulling away in practice, so it makes sense.
I mean, I think what we witnessed in that freaking Hall of Fame game is that our defensive line, even the second and third string guys, are just freaking disgusting. Just a bunch of ferocious human beings, right? Like watching those guys continue to get snaps, knowing they're not even our starters. The spin move coming from Will McDonald, kind of showcasing some of the stuff we've been seeing on tape and kind of hoping could transition to the league. I don't think we really have to question that, and I get it. It was against freaking, you know what I'm saying, future garbage men and insurance salesmen. But nonetheless, he was able to put it to work, and you can tell he was amongst the best players on the field, which you want to see, you know, when your first rounders are going up against third-string guys, maybe second-string guys. You want to see it. I loved it, man. The number 31, I forget the guy's name, but he was all over the place. Or is it 41?
31. I think you're talking about Craig James, maybe?
Yeah, you're talking about Craig James.
Is it Craig James?
No,
maybe
it's James. James, Waters, and Deem.
Okay, so he was all over the place. I thought that was impressive. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't know who he was, but I started looking more into who he was after the fact because that was a game where he seemed to be in every single play. Aaron Rodgers, even though it was a small sample, Zach Wilson, even though it was a small sample size, you saw him comfortable. I know some people were giving him slack for that freaking one overthrown ball, but when you watch the tape again, the receiver cut his route outward short. He put the ball where he should have been open, where there was plenty of field for him to go ahead and protect himself, not get hit, and make the play. Maybe I'm just nitpicking, but I thought that he showed progress from what we've seen in times past, climbing the pocket, scanning the field. I liked it, man. Our second team and third team went out there, and they took a lead. Second half came out, and, well, it went away when it was the guys who would never see a snap in the NFL that were out there. So I'm not mad about it. It's to me, I think Tippmann was nice to see. Will McDonald was good to see. And 31, man, this Craig kid was good to see. So I think there were some positives watching that. And of course, Mekhi Becton, again, small sample size. I got to admit, I was happy. I was like, wow, okay, he's showing that he's the best offensive lineman out there on both sides of the ball. Good. Throwing people around. Like, it was fun to see.
Bro, hold up, Dark. Shut up. Just shut up. We have been saying that we are on the Zach Wilson train. Me and Gunny, I don't know about DK. You said that too, right? Yeah, that we're not going to give up on him.
I'm not.
I wasn't
not giving up on him. No one said we weren't going to give up on him.
Yeah, no.
I think we're the three that
we're amongst
we're a selective group.
Yeah, actually. We're a very minority group of Zach truthers still hoping on to the hope that like this Aaron Rodgers experiment turns him into at least a serviceable freaking quarterback in the league. But I thought Zach Wilson looked good. But yeah, I'm like, we're with you, Dark Soldier. You coming? We with you. We've been saying like we hope this works out. And if Aaron Rodgers can get him straight, nobody can. Like, this is it. Your mentor is in the building. You talk about you decided to go ahead and model your game after him. Cool. He's right there with you. You're in his ear. If Aaron Rodgers can't fix him, then we know it can't be done. But I am holding on hope that after the Aaron Rodgers experiment is over and he retires, that Zach Wilson could, redeem himself. He'll be like 26. Young, 26 years old. 26. When in 3 years from now, like, or going on 27, 3 years from now. So I personally am hoping it works out. But yeah, I don't think anybody here has been knocking Zach Wilson. I think we've all said the obvious that it will be a long shot if he turns around. That's just facts. It'll still be a long shot. And don't forget, Soldier, that was against freaking second, third string guys. It's not like he was playing up against starters. Let's take that into consideration as well. We saw progress, but I wouldn't all of a sudden talk about like Zach Wilson's going to be the replacement to Aaron Rodgers tomorrow. Like if Aaron Rodgers goes down this season, I think we're all worried. Like we should be worried.
Oh my God, him in this. You should be laughing out loud. I hope you're spitting up beer or something. You know what? Zach Wilson proved to me that he's grown up because he's not throwing all these balls everywhere and he's scrambling and making good decisions while he's scrambling and he doesn't go backwards. He didn't go backwards. He threw a nice one throw, but you could tell he's learning. Like every single thing in this game, I wanted growth from specific positions. I really like what I saw out of Sherwood. I like what I saw out of Barnes. And Surratt. I love Trey Dean. Trey Dean, I think he looked pretty good in my mind. I love James as well. And then there was another guy. Bryce Hall did a little bit okay. I mean, he was okay. Goodry did okay too. But Becton played 7. And then Titman. You know when you're doing good when no one's saying nothing about Titman, played the whole game. And McDonald is a freak. I love what I saw. But there was a little bit of worry at the end of the game. Like, they came back and won. I'm okay that they came back and won. I just didn't like how that ended up like that. But overall, I liked the certain growth in certain positions.
Yeah, for me, it was it was 90% positive, 10% bad, in my opinion. I think what we are seeing is actual development across the board, right? I think as simply as we can put it, we've seen progress out of Zach Wilson. There was confidence. There weren't the mental lapses, right? We didn't see him look like he was panicking and guessing where he needed to throw, deliver some strong balls. It's 5 snaps, so how much can you really glimpse? But I don't think you've seen the same mechanical and mental errors that you were seeing previously. So it was a good job by him. The running game I didn't love. That was one of my negatives. Izzy had the nice outside play, but I think Solid captured it perfectly during the post-game conference where he was mentioned, we need better north and south running. Between the tackles is where we're going to get the job done. We haven't seen that from anybody yet. Granted, we did hold out a lot of our best ball carriers. So I did think it was interesting that we only decided to roll with Izzy and Travis Dye. No Bam, no Michael Carter. So we'll see what ultimately happens there. But between the running game and seeing us still get killed by screens, that was really my biggest qualms with the game as a whole. Everybody else showed out. Will McDonald, I think what impressed me the most is I don't think a lot of people understand how hard it is to pull off a spin move, no matter who the tackle is. We've seen a failed attempt, and then not even a couple plays later, we've seen him figure out how to set up that guy to get it off correctly, and he forced a pretty bad throw by Kellen Mond. So I'm impressed with how he's adjusting within game, within series already. Granted, it's just the preseason, but Yeah, strong performances from them. Joe Tippmann, Gino, I'm with you. I don't know when you figured it out, but I didn't realize till I seen the snap count breakdown. He was in there for the entire game.
He was. Tippmann was in there for the entire game.
Yeah, I thought he was in there for like a half or something. And then it hit me. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't actually remember seeing anybody else. So I went back and seen it. There were some fallouts from the game, though. So obviously, Chris Streveler, we heard he just got cut. There was a report that Bryce Huff, he's a little disgruntled with playing into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? I mean, to be fair, Robert Saleh talked about it. To put it out there, he mentioned, there's only so many players. We didn't dress a lot of our first rounders, so somebody has to get out there. But what did you think about I mean, it is what it is. He was out there deep into the fourth quarter.
I mean, I think me and Gunny have talked about this. I know we've been vocal about it on Twitter. Like, take him out of the game. I want him out of the game. I didn't want him to play that whole time right there. So, is there a trade coming? Like, maybe that's why they put him in the fourth quarter, like that. I doubt it, but you never know. Maybe that's why. But I know you're trying to give McDonald a break. I know JJ2 was playing a little bit there. I know they were moving players around, but that's the only thing I could think of.
I mean, we have what? I want to say like 13 camp bodies on the defensive line. We held out JJ for the most part. Clemens, I believe, didn't get any run. And Carl Lawson didn't get any run. So you're stuck with not JJ. You're stuck with Will McDonald, Bryce Huff. I think Bradley and I was still on IR. I'm trying to think who else did we even have out there. There's not that
we had Alexandria out there and Smart.
Okay, yeah.
Them. Oh, and Mac.
Some of the
we had Mac out there too.
Who?
Isaiah Mack.
Right. But he's more of a DT. So for the edge, the edge positions, I think we only had 4 guys rotating. I mean,
yeah. I forgot. I for D. What?
No, I'm just reading the comment now.
Alexandria.
Yes. So yeah, it's not too many guys, and from what I understand, it's not like Bryce Huff was just playing every snap in the fourth quarter. He played 25 snaps the entire game. He was more so just out there spelling guys like Deslin Alexander while he went. So I guess the complaint is we shouldn't have opened him up to injury risk with him being, I think arguably our best pass rusher, pure pass rusher on the team. To be fair, I don't think he had a whole lot to complain about. If anything else, he should have used it to his advantage because he was going to be in there for run snaps to show that he can contribute more than what he has, and maybe he'll get a bump up from 13 snaps a game.
I got a question, though. Do we think that Huff really said that?
So what happened was there was a Jets media press quoted something on X, formerly known as Twitter. He basically questioned why he was still out there in the fourth quarter, and that maybe this is a sign of where the team views him on the depth chart, and somebody saw that he liked it.
Yeah, he did like it.
Okay. I'll look at it this way. I think the biggest question mark we've had about Bryce Huff is that we don't know if Bryce Huff can play the run. I personally think he's probably the most talented like you said, pure passer we have on the team. But to keep him out there, on rundowns, it's a liability. So I 100% understand why he was out there, like you just said, DK. I think they wanted to see him, stop some freaking runs. We want to see you stop some freaking runs because we're telling you we don't think you can do it. You're telling us you can. So we're not in that same breath of like you're one of our starting freaking edge rushers because of that aspect. Prove us wrong. And I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if we can say he proved them right or he proved them wrong, right? Like it was one of those things where he got into the backfield lightning quick. He had one of the fastest get-offs again in this game. It was just ridiculous.
6-8 seconds. Yeah, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah, ridiculous, right? Like the dude is a pure pass rusher, and I think that the Jets coaching staff being concerned about his ability to stop the run is there. But then you look at the size of Will McDonald. Will McDonald and Bryce Huff in terms of size are very similar. I saw somebody say something that all freaking McDonald brings to the game is like the spin move and that he's raw. I couldn't agree less. I think he has so many pass rushing moves. This was a grown man playing freaking college football last year when he should have been in the NFL. He's built a repertoire of moves. He can beat you with the bull rush. He can beat you with the spin move. He can beat you with speed off the edge. He can beat you with bend. Literally, there's nothing he hasn't proven on tape that he can do to get to the quarterback. Oh, there it is. No, that's like, what do you think?
I think I seen it was Slugo.
Yeah, so I couldn't disagree more, man. Like, and I went back after we drafted Will McDonald because I didn't understand why we went that route since we already had a ridiculous defensive line. And I watched more and more of his tape, and that's why I felt so much better about it. I was like, okay, I didn't know. They played him out of position as well his last year. But on the edge, this kid is unblockable. Like, we love Bryce Huff. I actually think Will McDonald has a faster get off. Maybe it's the fact that he can go ahead and maintain that speed with his bend, which is just disgusting. Maybe it's because he's got those long ass arms and he can go ahead and reach. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where I was like, what the when we first drafted him, but when you go back and just sit there and you enjoy the tape of this kid, especially when he's playing on the edge, not on the interior line, you're like, damn, okay, this kid is disgusting. That spin move is maybe an elite freaking move to his repertoire, but his bend is elite, his speed is elite, his bull rush it's good, right? But he's got aspects to go ahead and make the offensive lineman's life a living nightmare. But yeah, I still think Bryce Huff should be on the field more, but maybe it's because, again, I'm a big Bryce Huff homer. I love how fast he gets off. And if you put two speed rushers on each side, like you put a Bryce Huff and you put a freaking, let's say, Will McDonald, like it's very hard for me to fathom any starting offensive linemen that have the ability to keep up. But I love the fact that we can rotate those guys out and keep offensive linemen guessing. They can't prepare for you if they constantly have to adjust their game plan or mindset. Oh, now it's JJ. Now it's Carl Lawson. Now it's freaking Huff. Now it's McDonald. Like, now it's freaking, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's JF. It's so many individuals, like you just said, to rotate out. I love that aspect because it's going to keep offensive linemen guessing. You can't prepare for this particular rusher not knowing which move they're going to go ahead and do on you, especially when they're swapping out. But I don't know, man. I don't think Huff is going anywhere. I know a lot of people think he's being kind of like marketed for a trade. I doubt very much that the return on what you would get for a Bryce Huff warrants his potential impact in the next couple of years while you have Aaron Rodgers here as your starting quarterback. Like, playing with a lead matters so much to the defensive line, and I think people keep forgetting that. They were still elite last year without playing with many leads. It wasn't as if we had a whole bunch of leads to let those guys eat. And they still finished, I think, with a top 5 in sacks last year. I'm excited to see what these guys are going to go ahead and do this year, especially when they have a lead and you can unleash those speed guys. Like, hey, we ain't got to worry about them running. We're up 2 scores. Go get them. And people are not putting that into play. We had Zach Wilson at QB last year. Freaking the corpse of freaking Flacco, and Mike White, who we all love, was a great story. One of the slowest releases in all of football, made it a little bit easier on most defenses. Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback now. Y'all need to start thinking about this defense, what it can do when they're playing with leads, not what you guys saw last year. And I think that's being kind of left in the dark.
Yeah, I think the weirdest part so far about, I guess, training camp up to now for me hasn't been necessarily some of the nitpicking, like debating over some of these players, but it's been how many people or how many players I keep hearing we should consider being on the trade block. Zach Wilson still. That one maybe warrants maybe more more of a look into after Aaron Rodgers commenting maybe he's likely to stay on for 3 or 4 years, however long the Jets would have him. Because that does bring into what kind of contract extension Zach Wilson would get. Would he want to continue to wait to be a starter that long? All that kind of stuff. But there's Zach Wilson. There's Bryce Huff. There's Mekhi Becton. I've heard people saying we should try to look to trade CJ if Jeremy Ruckert actually balls out. It's definitely been a litany of names. So it's weird. Do we want to keep these guys for a Super Bowl ring or not? I don't understand why the moment we finally get a championship roster, we suddenly want to try to start tearing pieces away like we can afford to.
I look at Slago. I know exactly a couple of the film reviews you're talking about, and like I said before, his bull rush is not his strong suit. Like it's the one thing he's going to need to work on in terms of it. But he does have one. But his bull rush only works when he gets off the line faster, stays lower, and gets his pad level right against offensive linemen. When he does that, has the advantage. He can go right through a freaking offensive lineman. And when he doesn't do it perfectly because of his size, it's a lot easier for offensive linemen to stand him up. But I watched him more often than not get off fast enough to get his pad level right and his hands under their pads and take advantage. So I know what you're talking about. People looked at that, and a couple of times you've seen him get stood up because, yeah, he is a smarter guy. But I've also seen more plays of him getting off faster and winning the freaking the line when it comes to the leverage aspect. And that's all you need, really. That's more legs against upper body. When you stand somebody up, man, it doesn't really matter. You can go ahead and push them back into the freaking the quarterback. But I'm telling you, man, like this I think this McDonald kid, he's
going to be better than Huff.
I think he'll be better than Huff. If I'm being honest, I think he's going to be the best edge rusher we have on this roster before long. Maybe not year one, but I think year 2, year 3, you're going to look at this kid and be like, that's why we picked him freaking 15th overall.
Him and JJ are going to be the futures. Yeah, they're both going to be the future. They're going to be.
I think Will McDonald has a higher ceiling as an edge rusher than JJ.
For sure.
I think JJ is a better, well-rounded edge rusher because he can go ahead and set the edge very well. I love his ability to set the edge. But I think pure pass rusher, that's going to go ahead and be like one of those guys you have a hard time taking off the field. I think Will, man, like if he continues this trajectory, because let's be honest, you can get to the NFL, get paid, and decide you want to be lazy. But this kid knows what hard work is. He's been doing it his whole freaking career to get to this point. You got to maintain it, right? You maintain that mindset, that hunger, then things can get great. But, yeah, I love Will McDonald, man. But I do agree with him here. Biggest concern is that linebacker. I could not agree with you more. Linebacker to me is real sus after CJ. And I love Quincy. But I still think after CJ, man, you've got a lot of question marks at linebacker, and you're just kind of hoping that those guys, you know what I'm saying, elevate their game a bit this coming season.
What, Barnes and Surratt and Sherwood, you didn't like them?
I like them, bro, but I'm not going to base this season with the 3-year window we got, you know what I'm saying, on what we saw in the preseason until I see it live game action. This was some vanilla defenses we ran in the preseason game. We won't really know what these guys are capable of until freaking game time. And I just need to see it.
Even Claudin did pretty good too, but I still think there's a big trade coming. Because to DK's point, why not keep all these guys and not trade these guys because we actually have a championship roster? I think there's going to be a trade package coming, and I think we're going to get a defensive guy. I don't think it's going to be offense. I think it's going to be a defensive guy. I just don't think that this roster is done yet on the defense.
You thinking linebacker or safety?
I'm thinking both. I'm thinking one or the other. It's going to be one or the other because I do like what Trey Dean's doing, and I think, let's be honest, guys, Tony Adams a lock, right? We could say that Tony Adams is a lock. I think it's going to be a linebacker.
That's tough for me to see.
Have y'all seen the pictures of Quan? I just saw Sligo talk about it in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. My brother-in-law is a Steelers fan. He's so happy.
Yeah. Oh, it's sick.
He keeps asking me about him, bro. And every time I have to explain to him, like, yeah, man, like you got to win it. He's like, haha, you're upset about it, so he has to be good. I was so salty, man, when I saw that he was signing with the Steelers. I really thought they were going to do the right thing here and bring Quan back. I don't understand why it would hurt. But then again, I don't know what the contract details were that he was asking for. Do we know what he got from the Steelers? Because I haven't seen anything about that.
I didn't even look into it. Once I saw he didn't sign with us, I called it a day.
Yeah, bro. It was the only reason I care is because my brother-in-law is a huge Steelers fan. He lives freaking 2 streets down from me. So, like, he was quick to go ahead and shoot me a text like, hey, you see it? And I'm like, yeah, I saw it, bro. I saw it like an hour ago. I knew you were going to hit me up at some point today. And, yeah, so Quan hurts. I wanted Quan. I think that would have made me feel so much better about our linebacker room.
Okay,
but
here
he's
we go.
gone now.
Quan signed a 1-year deal. Oh, God.
It's going to hurt our feelings, isn't it?
Oh, my God. $1,317,500 contract. It's including a $152,500 signing bonus, $152,500 guaranteed, and the average annual salary is $1,317,500. Oh, my God.
So a little bit more than we gave his ass last year.
You know what though? I'm not truly mad at that though, because I think if anything, that's a nod to Jamie and Sherwood and them thinking that he would have been
Yeah,
on par with what
yeah.
Quan would have been offering. Obviously, it's conjecture, right? Nobody's actually seen Jamie and Sherwood for more than 4 games or something like that so far. But Robert Saleh doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's made his bread and butter off of turning chumps into superstars at the linebacker position to not try to take advantage of bringing a guy like Quan in, especially on a cheap contract like that. So uh, I would say he's been comfortable with what he's seen out of between Sherwood, the rookies, the UDFA's. I think somebody in there is impressing him enough. And to
Yeah.
be honest, he can still mitigate a lot of those issues if he just want to continue to run a 4-2-5 package and not necessarily have to bring somebody in or trust a guy more like Adrian Amos to play that third linebacker role, for example. So there's ways
Yep.
to get around it. Obviously, I think Quan would have helped the roster, but at some point, I know we always want the rookies to, take somebody's job like a Tony Adams does, but that's more rare than
Right.
a consistent practice. So, Jamie Sherwood, year 3, right? Yeah, heading into year
Yeah.
3, I
Yeah.
I,
Year 3.
I I think it's not too bad of a roll of a dice.
Yeah, but Trey Dean, and James and Amos, you saw them line up in the linebacker position. So they're trying to do something because that's what they were going to do with Chuck Clark. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but something's impressing something over there. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, to be fair, Chad Surratt, he's been my dark horse guy at linebacker. Just ended up checking into him a couple weeks ago. Really loved what he did in college, and then, uh, Minnesota just kind of tossed him away. But he got, I want to say, the majority of last season on our practice squad. Came in, made some immediate plays during the Hall of Fame game. I'm assuming his injury wasn't that big since we didn't cut him like we did Hamza and Malik Hall. Um, so yeah, I look. I'm not really worried about it whatsoever. Quan played. I forget what the number was. 50%. He played something like 300 something snaps last season.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
Yeah. Like it's not too much damage that's going to be done if we really are trash at the third linebacker spot. And you can easily, like, Nick Vigil, I think was a good signing for us. The old Cincinnati linebacker dude. We definitely upgraded our depth.
Yeah.
You're
And
you're not gonna.
Hector. We got Hector today too.
I seen that. He's a defensive line dude, though,
He's
right?
a D tackle.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
defensive
yeah,
tackle.
yeah. So I don't know. As far as trade goes, I don't think we'll see one at. For me, I'm just going based off history and what I know from like Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh. I don't see us necessarily making a trade at safety or linebacker.
O
Then
line.
O-line possibly, but I
O-line
think
maybe.
I think you would see a move on Mekhi Becton be done first. If something happens with
Oh
him,
yeah.
then I'd be like, yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
don't think they'd preemptively bring anybody in though before we see like a major change there. If anything, I wouldn't be shocked if we cut Billy Turner and make a trade. He's been getting wore out.
He's been getting like
He's been
work,
getting
bro.
cooked. He's been getting
Work like
cooked.
a part-time job, dog. Like
Yo.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Watching these practices, and I thank God that Aaron Rodgers has the quick release that he does have. But nonetheless, man, like, and I know like Dwayne Brown is still mending. You know what I'm saying? We only see freaking Mekhi, situationally. But man, dog, he's a freaking revolving door, dog. Like that, it's almost as if he's welcoming. Like the offensive line does worry me a little bit. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It worries me a little bit but we haven't seen the actual core of our starting offensive line. And something tells me Dwayne Brown might surprise a lot of us too. A healthy Dwayne Brown. I mean, the guy played 13 games last year with one arm, and still finished out as a top 20-something tackle in the NFL. I don't know how you do that with one arm at the left tackle position, and yet he did. So I feel pretty good about him coming in, and maybe he might not be the All-Pro, Pro Bowl level freaking Dwayne Brown we're accustomed to, but at least serviceable. Give us a serviceable offensive tackle that allows Aaron Rodgers just the amount of time necessary to get rid of a play, and I think I'll feel better. But man, that O-line does scare me more and more.
Maybe that guy from the Packers.
Nah, I'm tired of Packers players. To keep it 100, like, you get good players, it is what it is. But like, yeah, if I hear another Packers signing, I'm gonna be fucking disgusted. because we're already hamstringed too. We can't negotiate anything with our first or second round picks if we do want to bring in like a high caliber player, because we got to go and sit back down with the Packers and actually figure out which pick we want to give up and probably toss them an extra bone. So like, I'm not a fan of the whole thing. Like, I'm just hoping our offensive line comes together and we actually gel and like, we see somebody step up to the plate at the tackle spot. But Billy Turner's already playing out of position. I prefer seeing Joe Blewett's breakdown of him. He's definitely a better guard than anything else, and he offers a bit of the versatility. But yeah, I don't. To be honest, I think they're just hoping Mekhi Becton can stay on the field solid enough to where they don't have to really worry about a guy like Billy Turner being the main dude. I'm concerned about Laken Tomlinson's injury, but I also like Wes Schweitzer. So
Wes
I don't.
hasn't been that great though.
Wes hasn't been great at the center spot. As a guard, he definitely does a lot better. It's not all pro or anything, but I mean, I haven't heard or seen much enough to say like where Laken Tomlinson has been at either. He could still be a dud like he was last year, or he could be doing solid. I kind of take the no news is good news situation approach with him right now. But he played so bad last year that like I'm playing the glass half full kind of approach with him, where like at any moment he could kind of fall off a cliff again, because there was no reason for that disgusting tape last year, and yet that's what we got. So
I mean, I'm not really that worried about Laken's injury yet and Quincy's injury, but that would make sense if we go after someone that's like a little bit older, not a young guy, but a little bit older, and has been experienced enough to be left to right guard. I think center's going to be fine in Vera Tucker being here, but I would say more, it would be like a Becton package.
If we trade for the offensive line, it has to be a tackle. I don't want to hear about any centers, guards, none of that. Connor McGovern, solid dude. I love what we've seen out of Tippmann so far.
Yep.
The guard positions were acceptable at the starters, right? Tomlinson's, obviously the question mark, but the depth is solid. The starters for the most part are solid. Like, if we want to improve, it has to be tackle for me. Otherwise, it's kind of just wasted investments. How many guards with center versatility and stuff do you want to pull in?
Yeah, tackle for me mostly, yeah.
On a brighter note, we got One Death Drive tonight and HBO Hard Knocks tomorrow night.
Definitely. My popcorn is ready. My popcorn's ready.
To see some behind the scenes stuff. That's exciting.
Facts. I forgot all about that.
Oh, I got you, DK. Nah,
that's on my calendar. And then joint practice on Wednesday in Carolina, baby.
Yep. So you get to see these guys against other competition. I think it goes a long way too. I think our offensive line, we're giving them a lot of crap, but we have an elite defensive line, right? Like I can only imagine them going up against this caliber of like players is going to make them better. This is again me really hoping for the best here. It's going to make them better. So to see them against, a Panthers defensive line who is average to say the least, right? Not something that you really look at and you're terrified of. We're gonna have some average D lines playing against us this freaking year. Let's see what those guys look like against average, because we know against elite, that left side struggles.
It does.
But I've heard great things about AVT and Max Mitchell on the right side, which Max Mitchell apparently has been impressing a lot of individuals.
He's all in, man. I love watching him.
So that's exciting. And from center to the right, so the center to right, you're looking positive in terms of trajectory. I really believe Laken Tomlinson cannot be worse than he was last year. God, knock on wood that I didn't just jinx that.
I knocked on wood too.
That the man didn't just forget how to play football, bro. Like, this was a Pro Bowl level left guard. Like, he did not just forget how to play football the moment he put on Jets green and white. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
So I'm hoping he figures his life out. So the left tackle position is important, very important. Again, probably the most important position, on the offensive side of the ball. Dwayne Brown, I'm happy about. I feel comfortable about. But man, that it's until you see it live, right? It's concerning. But I'm really hoping that it's just because our D line is that elite, and we're going to see some pretty good play against the mids, right? The mid on the defensive lines of the NFL, because there's more of those than there are elite freaking defensive lines. So that's a plus.
Facts. Yeah, I don't think they have a quote for like iron sharpening paper. I don't know.
Exactly. Never heard of that one before.
Tough. But on that note, we could talk for days about this. Time's a little bit wrapped, but you guys got anything important or interesting coming up show wise?
I mean, I'm everywhere. I do all kinds of shows. Like me and Jigga Man Porto are doing a show Wednesday night. He's going to be live at the Carolina Jets camp with Antoine Staley, Brandon Pokrass, and then Pockers, and then Jay Gaskin's going to show up as well. I'm going to be virtually. So got that coming up. My Red Sox show keeps going up and up. And one more thing, the Dolphins. So your fan base and your organization keeps howling Jets Twitter in the organization, and you just signed your 8th Jets guy in Nickerson. Okay, Dolphins. All right. Move on.
Jets South.
Exactly. And he's not even good.
To add to that, though, Miami. I'm sorry. I got to say something.
Miami. Just shut up.
Y'all, I know, DK, you stay off of Twitter, man. Good for you, dog, because the level of just stuff you'll see on there is mind-boggling. There are Dolphins fans literally telling us that the Jets wide receiver room wouldn't start on their roster. Garrett Wilson wouldn't be a starter on their roster. That means they believe Braxton Berrios, the Jets cut, and Chosen Anderson, the Jets cut 4 years ago, would somehow, some way outdo Garrett Wilson and be a starter. Like, the level of incompetence that you see from Dolphins fans sometimes is just so mind-boggling. And it's not all of them. There's some great ones out there that I know football, and they're like, Garrett Wilson might be number 2 behind Hill. I respect that. Hill is Hill. I would go with number 2. Some are saying, well, Waddle is better. Well, Waddle really exploded with Hill on the other side, kind of made his job a lot easier. Garrett Wilson was on he was literally by himself on an island, going up against everyone on said island to make, you know what? I digress. I can't wait for the season to get here because I'm sick and tired of the casuals jumping on freaking social media and running their mouths. I'm curious to see what they're going to say after some games are actually played.
Hence why I said it.
Hey,
I appreciate it.
W's talk the most. That's wild, though. That's
so dumb.
Bro.
So dumb. 8 Jets player they've signed. I know we've signed some Packers guys, but Nickerson is not good. We know this.
Are you talking about Perry Nickerson? The dude from like 6 years ago?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
He's a Dolphin.
Well, I hope they enjoy all of that. I don't have too much to add to that. I'll leave that be. On that note, Gunny, did you have anything? I know you got the Thursday. I think I didn't see one last week, but Thursday Thick of It.
We did the Thursday Thick of It. Like, we just watched the game. It was a live showing of the game. Currently right now I got 2 videos in the works that are taking a lot of my time and a lot of my editing skills. The prediction video for the New York Jets season, as well as the AFC East prediction video currently in the works. So that is going to be dropping here in the next couple of weeks. And I'm working on a 53-man roster prediction as well, but then I keep kind of like tiptoeing. I saw the game last week and I was like, ooh, this guy might make it, which threw off everything that I had taped. So like it's just getting to the point where I might just go ahead and just go with the starters for the Jets. But yeah, so right now my most important things is the AFC East predictions and the New York Jets prediction video coming out here in the next couple of weeks.
Fire. Yeah, Gunny's just jumping back into the ropes of things. He's been featured heavily elsewhere, putting some work in, but
and I'm just getting no sleep.
Facts. We do what we must for y'all. I don't have anything crazy. I drop when I drop for y'all. That's where I'm at with it. I am still trying to figure.
When I drop it, y'all see it. That's
it. Pretty much, y'all. It's look. When I drop, just be there for it. All right. Just do that. I'm trying to figure out when I can do this night stream thing for you guys. But other than that, that's about it. So appreciate you guys coming through on, a work hour, I guess. And other than that, though, looking forward Carolina joint practices. We'll see how things go next week and all that, and we'll catch you guys again. Peace.